All right, everyone. Thank you again for this afternoon. I hope you can, see my screen clearly, or you can also see me very well. I'm Nancy from STAAH, and again, thank you for choosing this hour to spend with us. Just a little bit about myself to start off. I've actually been with the hospitality industry for about 15 years and counting now. So don't count my age. I actually started as a hotel sales. Now most of you are from the hotel industry, so I'm one of you way back. But I moved to the hospitality solutions provider, but still enjoying sales. And since last year, I've discovered that I love cooking, but not really good at it yet. But it was actually forced upon me to learn because of the lockdown. So a little bit about STAAH. We actually were founded back in 2008 with just one client back in Auckland, New Zealand. And today we have 10,000 properties that we're supporting all over the globe with 8 offices worldwide. How our ecosystem works is we have a various solutions to help our hotel partners in increasing their online revenue. May it be on channel management, booking engine, reputation manager, and more. We also have a voucher engine that allows accommodation providers to generate instant cash flow. And let me introduce our panel one by one. To start off, here with me is a man who comes with extensive experience in the hospitality industry, both local and international hotel chains. Currently, he's sitting as the VP of Operations and General Manager of Bay Hotel Cebu and President of Hotel Resort and Restaurant Association of Cebu, Inc. I would like to welcome Mr. Alfred Reyes. Mr. Alfred, if you could, mute your mic and say a few words for everyone.
Thank you very much, Nancy. Again, we would like to thank you for joining us this afternoon. Hope we will learn a lot from all the panelists, and of course, it's nice to hear from you also in case you have some questions. Good afternoon to all.
Thank you, Sir Alfred. And we have someone originally from Netherlands but arrived in the Philippines 15 years ago, so he made a home out of the Philippines already. He's currently managing Villa Camilla Beach Boutique Hotel and Under the Stars Luxury Apartments. He's active with the Philippine Chamber of Commerce for 6.5 years now, and earlier this year he is the current sitting president of PCCI Boracay. Fun fact, during quarantine, he started DJing and playing frisbee to keep himself busy during his off time. So allow me to introduce Mr. Wesley van der Voet.
Right.
Yeah, say a few words. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you for the introduction, Nancy, and welcome everyone. Thank you on having me part of this panel list. I'm very excited for today and starting a conversation or a discussion, and looking forward to the next hour. So welcome everyone.
Thank you, Sir Wesley. And may I also welcome Ms. Valerie Sanchez, Associate Director for SOPay under AsiaPay. She plays a key role in developing and managing strategic partnership with major e-commerce platforms, hospitality solution providers, fintech, and other technology companies across the APAC region. Throughout her career, she has built solid business relationships with many industry leaders like Shopify, Oracle, NetSuite, Amadeus, Sabre, Ingenico, and Computab. With over 20 years of management experience, she has held various leadership roles, including business development manager of Fuego Hotels and Properties, and as business development head for GCash for Globe Telecom. And in the beginning, actually, of the COVID-19 pandemic, she was actually vacationing in Bangkok during that time. Now, having lived in the city for her whole life, she was forced to go on voluntary quarantine in the countryside, where she has stayed since then, working remotely. She has learned to enjoy discovering the discovering the ins and outs of many places and unique flavors of the province. So if Miss Valerie, if you could say a few words for everyone.
Forward to having a good conversation with everyone. Good afternoon. Thank you, Nancy, for that. Forward to having a good conversation with attending this webinar today. Forward to having a good conversation with everyone. Thank you. So I started in front office. I spent 10 years of my career
definitely not
in the hotel industry before transferring on to telecommunications, and then now to the payment gateway scheme or industry. So now with Asia Pay. So looking forward to having a good conversation with everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Val. And lastly, but definitely not the least, the founder of GHS and CEO is Bernard Quek. Bernard is an experienced technology entrepreneur. Developed a data monetization company, Global Hospitality Solution, GHS, which some of you may be already aware of. He started a startup in 2002 and today has become the Asia's leading sales and marketing tech platform specialized in e-commerce, conversational commerce, CRM, and loyalty marketing. His vision is to transform hospitality's non-profitable digital asset into profit by providing innovative digital solutions that drive profit through growth of digital commerce and loyalty. And during the lockdown, you may find him, Bernard's free time is mostly spent on the pool, gym, or I know this very well, he loves sipping gin while patiently waiting for any opportunity to fly out. Like everyone else, he just can't wait to take off again. So Bernard, if you could say a few words for...
Yep, sure. Good afternoon, everyone. This is Bernard. Thanks for having me today in this panel. I'm now based out of Singapore. Yeah, so been staying here for, I would say the longest ever, since I started to work 20 plus years ago. I've been flying 260 days a year. This has been my longest stay in a single area, right? But anyway, it's good. I think things are moving well for all of us. At least we are on a recovery path now. So yeah, looking forward to share some insight with the fellow panelists and all the participants in this seminar. Yeah, thank you, Nancy.
Thank you, Bernard. And yeah, we hope to see you back here soon, as long as the travel allows it already. Okay, so before we officially start everything, just a few housekeeping rules for everyone. If you could mute your mics upon joining, just so that everyone can hear the panel when we come on to our discussion. Okay. All right, thank you. So here we are. We are going to open this discussion for our panel, just to share their ideas, their expertise. And you know the panel, you've heard what they are, what they have to say about themselves. I've read to you guys their expertise, so I'm sure the audience is expecting nothing but great advice and a perspective on strategies for staying ahead in this new normal. As you all know, we are now entering our second year of lockdown. We thought 2021 was a new beginning for everyone, but it's not like it's like we can just scratch off 2020, forget about it. But here we are still trying to ride out these challenging times as best as we can. Hopefully with the vaccination in all our areas, in all the parts of the country, we will see some, ray of hope for everyone. Now, as the topic suggests, we will talk about conquering tourism and the role of digital transformation. First of all, what is digital transformation? Simply stated in Wikipedia, so I just Googled this. Digital transformation is the adoption of digital technology to transform services or businesses through replacing non-digital or manual processes with digital process, or replacing conventional digital methodologies with innovative digital technology. But what role does it exactly play in helping our industry, our hospitality industry, with the recovery? Let's find out. So if everyone remembered back in, was it 2018, Boracay was shut down but for rehabilitation. Later, when the industry seemed to be doing a whole lot better in the beginning of 2020, the pandemic now happened. So it seems it's not going to go away anytime soon. Going by that, I'd like to address my first question to Sir Wesley. Boracay bounced back, but of course the situation was, a whole lot different back then. So how do you think the hoteliers now, in our time now, how are they going to survive this challenging times?
Yeah, very good question, Nancy. As you've mentioned, right, we had our closure. I'm not sure if everyone knows this, but we had a 6 months closure where we locked down our borders basically and decided not to welcome anyone anymore to the islands for rehabilitation purposes. Obviously, this time was very, very different because we knew immediately after the 6 months we're going to be back into operations again, and people were happy to travel, and obviously traveling was allowed. Now it's a very different situation because we do not, we can't affect international tourism, local tourism, decisions that are being made. So sustainability, I think what you're mentioning is also for us, we're working with additional cash injections. But then again, we have to stop and we have to start operations again because we're also reliant on tourism as, that's our only focus for Boracay. We also change constantly based on what, for example, the Department of Tourism is telling us or a local government unit. So we have to adjust, we have to make additional investments. For example, I'm sure that this went worldwide, right? So the plastic boards between the front office and filters, HEPA filters in rooms, etc. And then again, so you do all of these investments and then again, tourism stops. So there's no output, right? So how long can we continue? I think overall what we've seen business owners doing is changing some of their concepts. I mean, their core still stays the same, but some of their concepts has changed for restaurants and hotels. During the pandemic, it has all forced us to think outside of the box and turn every penny around that comes in and also goes out. So I think currently people are focusing on deliveries, future bookings, focusing on local and how to support more local and sustainability, because obviously if you're working with international suppliers, now supplies all of a sudden cannot come in anymore. So it's really rechanging, not necessarily your initial concept, but also just refining it into a better way to work with the current situation that we're in. I think for Boracay overall, Boracay Island is, it's obviously a very, very small island. We used to have more than 2 million visitors per year. So there was a piece of the pie for literally everyone. And now all of a sudden, everyone is fighting for just a small piece. But it's very difficult, right? With lockdowns, with no travel, with no airlines coming in. So yeah, that definitely is setting us back quite a bit. But then again, changing concepts in towards delivery, making sure that you can still welcome the visitors that are here in the island. For example, we do have people that decided to move from Manila or move from another country. We even have people that are staying here from the States. They decided to move and they went, okay, the first country that we're going to go to is the Philippines. And when traveling was still allowed, they actually have a Filipino passport. They decided to come to Boracay and just work from here because work allowed them to do so. So we cater to those and hopefully we can get a little bit of money in that can sustain our operations so we can still pay for our expenses and not go down the drain too much as of this moment.
Yeah. So thank you. So basically, business owners need to learn to adapt. So that's it. So they have to adapt.
Yeah.
They have to adapt to the situation. They have to be smart with every revenue they generate, where they will inject into, right? Be very conscious, but it doesn't mean that they cannot invest on something, but they have to be smart on it.
Right. And do the right investments. Yeah, that's
correct.
Right. That's
correct. So so for you, Sir Alfred, let me divert this one to you. What should the business owner look out for in your expertise? What do you think is the segment of the accommodation industry that will recover quickly, during this new normal?
Thank you, Nancy. With regards to which segment that in the industry would really recover quickly, first of all, we need to understand, talking about the Philippines now, like Manila and Cebu, wherein the only available market that you have due to the closure of the international market is only the returning overseas Filipino workers, and also the overseas Filipino that are basically residing abroad who would like to come back. Those are the only market available as of the moment. Now, we all know that in cases of downturn or depression, as what we call, in the new normal, it's always expected that the government sector will always be the only stable source of business. Second will be your local market. This is where staycation comes in different packages to choose from. That's why you will see a lot of packages floating around the internet, all the platforms that you have. Third is the local market that will slowly pick up due to essential requirement travel. And you will have the MICE market also, coming from the government, associations, and corporate market. But expect that this will be coming from the small to medium-sized groups due to the new requirement that we have in the new normal, which is mandated by IATF. While in the absence of medicine, I will still see that the small to medium-sized group will still be the only traveling market for groups at this time. Now, when the borders for international market will be open, then we will expect airline business like airline crew. Now, of course, in Manila, you already have that, but we're talking about the secondary and tertiary destinations. International market will start with their airline crew and the airline packages. This may start with domestic again, then going to international. And travel trade will start to come in slowly. But again, expect that when you talk about travel trade, you will not be talking anymore of 50 rooms, 40 rooms and above. We are now going to be talking about 5 persons to 10 persons, and this will be family travel. And if not, probably we call it in Tagalog, we call it barkada or friends. Those are the type of individual travelers that you will be seeing once then the international market will be open. Now, booking channels like property website, booking engines will always be the booking channel for properties, which they should not compromise. No? And the way how I see is that OTAs will be the first one to recover. This is due to digital transformations, transactions. And while Airbnb will be the last to recover, because buyers' confidence will still be at question. There will be doubt on the safety and protocol on how these properties under Airbnb will be kept.
It's a very good concept there, Sir Alfred, about the Airbnb, because you would think if you're alone in a unit, you're safe. But again, looking back, the protocols, which accommodation provider can actually really follow the protocol, right? And because that's what the customers are expecting. Correct.
And,
so
we don't also know that if this particular owner of who enrolled in Airbnb is really cleaning the unit on the way how the protocol is really being should be addressed. So that's why the doubt of people on terms of hygiene and safety, because you don't know if the last person is positive or what. So again, the doubt of travelers nowadays is really very high. In fact, travelers nowadays, they bring their own hygiene, we call it, from alcohol down to any other thing.
Yeah, correct. Okay, so with that, the customer expectation, let me go back to Sir Wesley. What do you think are going to be the customer expectations, and how, as accommodation providers, how are we going to meet those expectations?
Well, good question, Nancy. I think that providing a safe environment, as Mr. Alfred just mentioned earlier, is something that people will be looking for once they book their accommodation. Going to an establishment where everyone is committed to be wearing, for example, their face mask, face shields, and additional measures being taken to make sure that surroundings are disinfected. But it's not only the hotel that needs to do this, but also the destination, right? So overall, I think it's from a marketing perspective, I think it's a multi-purpose view where it needs to be a collaborative effort. It doesn't only look at, for example, Boracay, right? We have more than 250 hotels. So as much as we all do our own efforts, then again, it's still a collaborative effort where we all need to bring out that same safe message, where we are all committed and in providing a safe environment for people that actually come over. Then again, we now have currently vaccination going on. I think, people are talking about vaccination passports and allowing travel again. I think this is happening currently in Europe, where Spain is allowing vaccinated people to travel again to Spain starting June 7. And I see this eventually also happening in the Philippines, definitely.
Completely, I agree with you on that one. And I just would like to add that the guest experience, actually, you mentioned from your end, when your border opens up. So I believe it starts when the guest books their package, starts their journey, and looking for either their destination or their hotel, and maybe the experience, or it starts from how the hotel engaged them, simply by I think sending a confirmation letter, what's happening in their area, what's new, what's happening now, right? Be very relevant when you first touch base with your property. And going back to you again, Sir Wesley, how can a hotel, an accommodation provider, not just hotels, resorts, accommodation providers, how can they create a unique experience so that there's a lot of accommodation provider, but how can they be chosen first from the list of hotels? How can they be chosen over the others?
I think overall everyone has set their visions and missions, right? So even before the pandemic, hotels, restaurants, they all had their concepts outlined and maybe had to adjust or think, as mentioned earlier, outside of the box to make a little bit more revenue. So focusing on deliveries, and that would still generate, and where expenses will be lowered. But I think hopefully in the near future, I mean in the next couple of months, I do hope that people have created a safe environment for customers to still enjoy all of the amenities, etc., during the time of the pandemic, and not to compromise their initial setup, so their initial mission and vision. Obviously, it's also a bit difficult, right? So for example, for us, we're a boutique hotel that we manage. We only have 39 rooms, so it's a very small hotel. And usually the reason why people book with us is because it's a boutique experience. So it's that contact with the guests that we have on a consistent basis. But then again, we've also learned how to adapt, as we've tackled that during the first question. And adapting more towards the digital world, where we can still provide the same service, but doing it at a distance. So doing it on for example, online butler service, etc., where we don't necessarily have to be in touch with the guest or in contact with the guest, but we can still provide it by being at a safe distance. So through a cell phone or through an application, etc. So this is what I really hope for. That hotels are going to be starting to think about is outside of the box, providing QR codes that still give the convenience for guests that are coming in, as mentioned earlier, online butler service, etc., and just creating that safe environment. So when people actually do come over, they can enjoy their holiday worry-free and within safety measures set by the destination.
Thank you so much. So it's the key outtake is that it has to be a safe environment, but still, being in line with your vision, but adapting to, the new concept that you will be creating. Yeah. So, but you mentioned digital transformation. So let me go to Sir Alfred. What makes you think that digital transformation in the hospitality industry practical for long-term investment? I think, Sir Alfred, you are on mute. If you could unmute. Thank you.
Thank you, Nancy. And for all who are watching us right now, digital transformation is not just about technology investment. It refers on the way organizational structure themselves to adapt and alter culture, on empowering innovations that leverage technology and take their business into the new levels of growth, like promptness, convenience, and time of delivery of service or goods. In today's world, people need outright and direct answers in no time. Let's remember that the trend today is digital and contactless transactions. An example for hotels that are already into food deliveries. Who expected the hotel will go into food deliveries? It's only Jollibee and McDonald's, right? But in this pandemic, look at where the hotels right now. They have to work out of the box, as what was mentioned a while ago. And how do they order now? Through mobile phones, right? They have mobile apps. And even with the payment, it's already through mobile apps as far as payment is concerned, because of all these contactless transactions. The other thing that I'm gonna say that's very popular in today's platform are selling of digital vouchers. Before, you sell vouchers, you do promotions, you go to the mall, but in today's world, it's totally different. You can already buy vouchers that are basically digital, and I think that's Bernard's one of Bernard's experts. No? GHS is doing very well as far as promoting these digital vouchers here in the Philippines, and I'm sure that's also popular outside the Philippines.
Thank you for that, Alfred.
Today is that mostly of the hotels are into Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. Who would expect? They said TikTok is just only for dancing, right? But if you're gonna look at it, in hospitality are now into TikTok. Even who they are. TikTok is becoming another platform in the social media that is being used to promote, and some of them are basically they're spending as far as these are concerned. Now these are now being used as digital channel source of revenue. Now, investing in the best digital platform that is available now in the market, always make sure that it caters to the need of your customers, and that will give you the edge in boosting your property's revenue.
All right, thank you very much. So this is the way to go, because as you mentioned, going digital, it means growth for the company, right? For any businesses, it basically means growth. And what solutions now are available that will benefit not just businesses, but also customers. So it goes hand in hand. And the next one, I'd like to address this next question to Miss Valerie, being our tech partner. In relation to what Sir Alfred said, customer experience and behavior has been changed in recent times. What do you think are the solutions that are expected, like from your expertise as a payment gateway? What would enable hoteliers to take full control of their business operations? Any particular service that you would like to highlight on that one?
Okay, thanks Nancy for that. And I do agree with Alfred with what he said a little while ago, saying that digital transformation, it doesn't have to be, there's all sorts of level for digital transformation. A startup or a small property need not go to the whole caboodle of having a very, very nice website and such. They can start small, they can start simple with what is actually quite right for the profile of their customers. So it could be various channels, as Alfred has mentioned. It could be the various social media platforms that's available now, or it could be through instant messaging. So one particular trend that we have seen happen during the pandemic is that the behavior of customers actually changes as well. And because it changes, then the property and all the other vendors need to actually adapt to that. So we see the trend more and more of customers wanting to get in touch with the properties through social media apps or other instant messaging apps. And because they like getting in touch with the property through this, unlike in the traditional way of calling or perhaps sending an email. So that means more and more solutions must rely on these channels as well to be relevant. Let's say, for example, it's very important for merchants or for hotels to be able to monetize whatever transactions they have. So that means if the customer actually is ready to make a booking, and then they would be ready to do the payment as well, it's important for the property to be able to do that, whether it's going to be through instant messaging app.
Hi, Miss Val. I think we lost you for a few moments there.
Okay, so nowadays, more and more properties, they'd like to monetize the reservations made by their customers through instant messaging apps or social media accounts. So whatever channel the customers would want to communicate with our property, that's where the payment will happen as well. So let's say, for example, in Peso Pay, we have what we call a direct payment link, or a link or a QR code specific to the reservations of the guest, which can be sent by the property to the customers through their Facebook account, through Instagram account, or other instant messaging apps. So we have that. In addition to that, we know as well that because of the pandemic, more and more managers may be working remotely. Unlike in the traditional way wherein they have to go to the office to perform the operations, more and more vendors, like Peso Pay, makes running a business available through web-based or mobile-based devices. So we came up with applications which will enable merchants to actually transact or send payment links to the customers using wherever they are. So it could be through using any mobile devices, or they could be staying in the offices as well. So these are just some of the few solutions payment gateways or other vendors can have to adapt to the new normal.
All right. Thank you, Miss Val. And true. So since we've now, well, most of us, if not everyone, has been working remotely at some point, cashless payments are now being accepted universally. That's one example. And I think that's how payment gateways enables the accommodation to provide or accept payments, like you've said, irrespective of their device and platform. And let me move on to Bernard. What do you think are the influencing factors that will be driving the demand for digital transformation in the hospitality industry, not just now, but in the coming years?
Right. Well, thanks for the questions, Nancy. Well, let me put a few points here. Right. I think we can take this situation of the pandemic, a bad one, but we can also see it as a positive one because it allowed the industry to reset ourselves, right? So, like in any form of business, I like to see it in a more positive way. So, number one is every crisis create new opportunity. Yeah, I hope everyone agrees to it, right? It create a new opportunity. So, but I always say it's luck out there for people who are prepared. So, any hotelier that are prepared today, right, will benefit from the decision they make today, when everything is over, right? So I'm of the view that in the next couple of years, from now on, will be a very transformative one for our industry, right? So I've been hearing a lot of things called new norm, right? I mean, we've been hearing this, but when we're doing technology, and especially in my business, I have to put some definition behind new norm and take some investment there, because we have to develop technology today for our industry tomorrow, right? for our hospitality industry tomorrow. So we kind of define what new norm is. So I think the opportunity lies in the keyword called hybrid, right? Going forward is a lot of hybrid, okay? And the first factor now is first thing we want to solve today is how can we help hotelier to do business in a world of no tourism, right? So that's the first thing. So that's what Alfred said. So we see a lot of our clients move into food delivery, e-catering, how to support Zoom party, how to do e-gifting, do a lot of vouchers. So we've been investing a lot of effort on those digital services for hotel during this COVID-19 period. That's number one. What is going to define further is we have to realize that the road ahead is not going to be a very smooth one. Okay, as much as all hotelier hope, it's like I remember everyone say by June the world is open, right? So it's not going to happen that way. I hope everybody accepted that, right? So the road ahead is going to be a very turbulent one, very bumpy one to recovery, and this is not going to stop in the next couple of months. It will take years for that to resolve. I expect 3 to 4 years for global air travel to recover. Number one. And another thing is when we define new norm, we like to see the new norm in the area of future of works. So how does future of works look like, right? So a lot of big organizations, big Facebook, Google, 3M, whatever you name it, most of them will be doing work from home, or at best 50-50, 50 on site, 50 at home. So what does it mean for hotel and hotel related business? For example, that would definitely increase a lot of food delivery service, right? Because people no longer get together for lunch. Team building is gone. So how do you do team building when people are working from home, right? So we are of the view that e-catering, food delivery will be on the rise for hotel, right? So that's one example how hotel can take advantage of the future of work and start developing strategy today. The other part will be what is the future of celebration and entertainment look like, right? So in Singapore, for example, wedding party are restricted to 50 or 100 people each time. So a lot of people are tuning in from Zoom to attend wedding party. That is one. We were working with Hyatt in Singapore, for example. They were doing one company get together. We have to deliver 460 set of lunch to 460 home by 12 p.m. that afternoon. So that the chairman can turn on the Zoom party and then address everybody with a champagne, right? So we have to deliver 460 set of lunch. So,
correct.
So the future of celebration,
Yeah. So that's what you meant by. Sorry to cut you there, Bernard, but that's what you meant by adapting to it, and that's the hybrid model, right?
That's
where
right.
you transform it, and that's a very nice way of looking at it. Like you mentioned, for every crisis, you have to look for the opportunity there.
That's right. Yes,
and that's a very good message coming from you. And property owners, I think, should really look at it that way, not to be bombarded with all the negativity, but look at it on that part. So and I guess that's the first half of what we have. And let me just cut this the middle half of our discussion. That's a lovely and very educational points that everyone has been given. But let me do something, a little exciting activity for my panel here. I would like to ask all the panel, a few choices, and probably just give them 1-2 seconds to answer everything. So this is what we call our rapid fire. Can I start off with you, Sir Alfred?
Sure.
Okay. Can I shoot in my, choices, and it'll be interesting what you think of this one. So, do you think it's better to have payment upon the hotel or payment upon booking?
Collect payment upon booking.
Upon booking. So you want money upfront. Very good. And then what do you think is better? Free breakfast or give discounts? Well, you're a hotelier, understandably. So what do you want? Free breakfast or discounts? Which one do you rather
Free
give?
breakfast.
Of course.
Thank you. For all of us customers, thank you for that. This is very crucial for me. What will your answer be? What do you want? Local service provider or international service provider?
International.
Thank you very much. We'll clap your hands for Bernard. Let's clap our hands for Sir Alfred. There. So let me move on to you, Bernard. Yeah. What do you think should be, in your opinion, manual check-in or digital check-in?
Digital.
Good. And how about for payment? Is it cash payment or e-wallet? Which one do you trust? E-wallet. Good. And for client engagement, do you think Facebook or Instagram? Are you
Or both?
For Facebook?
Both.
Both. Yeah,
Yeah.
better be present for both. Miss Val, how about
Yes.
you? All right. Do you think a property should have a dedicated property website just as it is, or also social media pages only, or both?
Both, definitely.
Good. And for customer service, do you want the traditional one, live chats or chatbots?
Live chats.
Live chats, personal interaction. Okay. For hotel staff, the same idea. Do you think it will work out for robots, or you want the human interaction still?
Oh, definitely human.
Okay, still have the human touch. Great.
Definitely.
Now, last for Sir Wesley, for keyless entry for hotels, do you think it's better to have a biometric one, retinal, fingerprint, voice, or an NFC device like a smartphone? Which one do you prefer?
Smartphone.
Smartphones. Okay, so no more, fingerprints, no private information there. All right. For OTA bookings or direct bookings, which one do you prefer?
Direct bookings, obviously.
Direct
but
bookings.
OTAs is also okay, but direct bookings is
All
better.
right. Direct money for you. That's what it is.
Right.
Yes. Is it gift certificates, virtual, or the local traditional gift giving tokens?
Gift certificates virtual.
Okay, good. Okay, well, that's interesting because some of the choices are between conventional, traditional versus technology, but some choices as well are between technology versus other technology solutions.
Right.
So, let me move on to you, Miss Val. In the past decade or so, we have been rapidly moving to digitalization for everything, and data security has been always a major concern. So, what do you think? How can you help properties, maintain their trust between suppliers and their customers?
Okay. Well, definitely with regards to that, there are certain standards in the industry that we adhere to, and it's important for merchants to be very particular when it comes to this one. In the payment industry, there's one such benchmark or certification that's very important for merchants or for hotel properties to actually scrutinize. This is what we call the payment card industry data security standards. So this is actually a set of requirements intended to ensure that all companies that process, store, and transmit credit card information maintain a secure environment. Now, please take note that there's quite a number of vendors out in the market who would say that, oh, we are PCI DSS compliant. But then again, I'd like to caution everyone that being compliant and being certified are two actually different things. So certification is actually key in ensuring that the security of your customers are actually maintained. In addition to that, there are other solutions out there provided not just by the payment vendors, but also by other hospitality solutions vendors, which the merchant would be able to use. So these are the likes of tokenization for those properties who would usually have returning guests to them. And for the convenience of the guest, they'd like to go through the tokenization route. They can also employ additional safety standards like 3DS or 3D secure payment processing. But what I'd like to highlight as well is the participation from the side of the property. So vendors, whether it's going to be Peso Pay or other solutions vendor, will most likely have a training for the merchants because it's important for the hotel property to be able to maximize whatever security solutions that the payment provider provides. Let's say, for example, Peso Pay, we have a set of fraud flagging features in our platform. But it's important, but it's actually interactive. It has to be used and scrutinized manually by the property for it to work, because we're working from the concept that the property would know its customers best. Therefore, we place that feature into the Peso Pay so that the properties can actually maximize and use this to their advantage. So these are just the few of security features that we do provide in the hopes that the property will use it really well so that they will be able to maximize the use of this service that we do provide.
All right, thank you, Miss Val. It seems that the research that has been done for it, the efforts and the investment for tech companies, about just to make us feel protected has been very extensive. So, but in line with that, Sir Alfred, do you think that in these difficult times, is it correct to cut down on technology? Is this a good option? But in what ways also do you think it allows maybe the property to increase their revenue?
That's a very good question, Nancy. In this pandemic, switching off of any hospitality technology is a management business decision. And it depends on every destination. In the market situation, it's a demand and supply. A hospitality properties booking engine should not be switched off at all times. I mean, it's a mortal sin if you're going to switch off. Not unless if your property is already closed for business. Now, majority of the property booking engine is connected with the global distribution system. And most likely it is interfaced with your website, or if not, your mobile phone, and nowadays, Facebook. The moment you decide to switch it off, your booking engine, then you're out of the competition. Now, channel manager software are always subject to properties market demand. It's both international and domestic. If the demand is small, then you can probably work with the OTAs, or you call it the online travel agencies intranet. You can do it manually. You can work with your property management system. However, should you consider the risk of not be able to cope up should there be a surge of business demand and payment challenges, and expect that you will have problems. That goes with any restaurant reservation system and other guest-focused platforms. Now, manualization in this generation, especially if your workforce are millennials, then that is not a solution or a good option. Because the millennials are not used to the manual system. It will just lead you to a more expensive exercise and a lower productivity. Technology will make your team more productive. That's why in today's world, technology has been invented, especially for properties. There's a lot that you can choose from. And it's one way of making sure that the productivity goes up and you have a chance of increasing more revenue.
All right, thank you. That's a great insight, because I think in this period also, this is a chance for properties to audit their system to make sure they can check what's working, what's not, what they need to improve. Because, and like you've mentioned, if they're closed, it's not, how can they, say their word out that they're closed if they're not communicating properly? And they might lose out on future business if they if they disconnect. They have to be open for future businesses. I think, speaking for the OTA, their rankings may fall if they're not present there, they're not active there, and their online presence in terms of being trusted by customers. If they just simply disappear, it might fall. Their reputation, their social media reputation might go down, and that's a really bad reflection on the property. And lastly, for Bernard, we have a lot of innovations on big data to AI and machine learning. How do you think this can create a difference in the hospitality sector?
Right. Well, it's a great question as well. First and foremost, data and AI come together hand in hand, right? It's not one or another, right? So we are, from the very beginning of our business, of our journey, I've always believed in data, right? So I'm not sure you guys heard about the term called data is the new oil, right? That's what it is. That, without data, there's no money, right? And AI is actually the refinery, right? Because it's like crude oil. If you don't refine it, it's not going to be a gasoline, right? So same thing. Data need to be refined. and it become insights, right? And insights will help to drive AI. So going forward, how is this important to the trade? Because the demand is only going to come in very slowly, right? Because when the global tourism drop, it drops like you're taking a lift, but it's going to just climb back like a staircase, very, very slow. So having the right data and AI will point you to the right direction where you should invest and put your energy upon, so that you can invest at the right place and support the client in the right area. So yeah, so data and AI will be a very very important factors for the travel industry people going forward. Yep. I think you're mute, Nancy.
Sorry for that. Yes, so that's a very great insight, Bernard, because I expect nothing less from you, being the tech guy here, and the idea that data is the new oil. That's a nice way of putting at it. They have to protect that one. Properties need to protect their data, their information, get whatever they have on it, because that will help them. All right. Just so let me run through all the comments that have been and all the ideas that have been shared this afternoon. We've had, I'm sure all of you will agree, we've had some really valuable input from our expert. The key points I would like to highlight are, remember that business owners need to adapt first and foremost. That's what we discussed. They need to adapt to the situation. Be smart with every revenue they generate, where they would put it. Is it for investment or whatnot? Take care of your local markets, as this will be the first to provide your revenue. Provide a guest experience that starts from the moment they start their booking process. That's the start of the journey. Always think outside the box, but in doing so, create a safe environment for both your internal stakeholders and customers. Allow digital transformation to take your business to the next level. Make sure you have the right technology to support you, not just in increasing your revenue, but maintaining trust between you and your customer. Make sure you partner with a certified and trusted tech provider. Disconnecting and going back to the conventional method to save some costs may not always be the right thing to do. You tend to lose more, not just your immediate business, but it may also affect your potential revenue in the near future. The property owners need to know from where they're driving their majority of their revenue. A lot of you have discussed this point on point every time, that what platforms gives them their increasing profitability. They have to know where they will get that business. They need to be present on relevant channels and platforms, may it be social media or may it be their own website, OTAs. They have to be present, and basically arm yourself with all the information you can to make sure you stay ahead of the competition. So if there's anything else the panel would like to add, feel free. And we're going to open now our portion to some Q&A, if there's any. Have anyone been messaging us? I haven't seen any direct questions for us yet. For our panel, any last minute advice you can give out there, because we have both. There's a lot of students also that joined us, so thank you very much, and a lot of hospitality accommodation providers. Any additional thoughts you'd like to impart with them? Don't be shy.
Nancy, let me just take this one. I know that there are a lot of students listening to us or watching us now. For those who would like to venture in the hospitality industry, I know one of the curriculum nowadays some of them are the property management system and the technology that is available in every institution. Make sure that you understand the process, because in today's generation, technology really plays an important role. Sometimes technology will help you improve on your revenue, or sometimes it destroys your reputation. It's either because your reputation is destroyed, either your business goes down. So it's very important you really understand how the system works and how will it benefit you as an individual towards your direction to which hospitality you would like to join. It can be airline, it can be restaurant, it can be hotels, it can be resort, and so on and so forth. That's where.
All right. Thank you for that one. Yeah, I have actually here a question from a student, maybe for Sir Alfred and Sir Wesley. I think in line with their curriculum, they may be looking at possibly are you accepting OJTs for now? I think that's part of the curriculum for their learning process. Do you think the hospitality industry is open for that at the moment? Not particularly your hotel, but the industry.
Let me take that one. For Cebu, yes, we are already accepting some OJTs. Although there are some apprehensions, however, because the pandemic is still there, we make sure that we are covered with both the student and the school, and also the property. We normally do with waivers.
I see. Thank you. Because it's good to know that, even if the industry is not really working so well, but we have a lot of people still for our industry, rooting for our industry to be successful, right? So,
right. So Nancy,
correct.
but that's exactly right. I think this is also the right time now to do an OJT because there's more chances and there's more time to have them learn a lot more, even though it wouldn't be necessarily into regular operation. But we have a lot more time now to sit down with an OJT and really go over all of the processes and the things that they have to learn.
All right. Thank you for that. Let me see if we have a couple more. Okay, we have one question. What hotel values before, what do you like about the new normal setup as a hospitality, provider, accommodation provider? The question is, what do you like about the new normal setup? Because we have a whole lot of new restriction now. So what do we like about it? What do you think we learned about it? Anyone? Because they're very because of the restriction now, is the hotel being restricted to operate as much as they want before?
I'd like to throw that question to Mr. Wesley.
Sir Wesley, if you can.
Yeah, sure. Well, so I don't necessarily think it's something that we all like. I think it has just made us very aware of the current situation that we're in, where we have to be very adaptive and we have to make changes to make sure that we continue with our business, right? So I don't think I can answer it literally on what I like about the new normal setup, but I think we've just learned our way and how to deal with it and still continue with our business.
Okay, I'll take it.
I hope that answers your question.
I'll take it, sir. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
All right, let me see if there's anyone here. Right, actually, we have a couple of questions from the students, but I think I'll just email that to you, Sir Alfred and Sir Wesley separately, because also I'm just looking at the time. It's already 4 o'clock, and I did promise you only an hour. I know everyone's busy, and everyone took the time today to, join us. And again, I'd just like to say thank you very much for everyone. I'm Nancy again from STAAH. Please, if you need anything from STAAH, we provide you with your online distribution. We can help you with your online reputation. We can manage it for you. You can contact me at nancy@staah.com. And with that, thank you. And if there's nothing else from our guest, would like to say thank you very much and good day to all, right?